Hello and welcome back to another VMK in the Caligari series. In this VMK I'm going to show you how to set up trueSpace so that you can optimize your workflow. For beginning the trueSpace, it can be very confusing as to where all the buttons are located that we're going to be using when modeling. So to help with this, what we're going to do is we're going to expand the buttons located at the bottom. These buttons are the buttons we're going to be using whenever we're modeling anything. So it's helpful to see everything that's available to us. So we're going to leave this one open. We're not really going to be using any of the animation buttons at the top. So we're going to go up here, click on this bar twice, and it will then close up for us. We're not going to need to change any of the rendering settings either, so we're going to click on this guy twice and close it off as well. Everything else we're going to pretty much leave how it is. The only other thing that I like to have open when we're working is our object tool. To do that, right click on the arrow and you'll notice that a window appears on the screen. In this window you'll have the X, Y, Z coordinates for the current selected object as well as the rotation about each of those axes and a scale factor for each axis as well. The name and the layer in which the object is currently in will be displayed here, and then the number of vertices and the number of faces that the object has will be shown here. By clicking on the little triangular arrow, you can enlarge this view and you'll have some additional information located at the bottom. We won't need this additional information, but it is good to know that we are working in meters, so when you are modeling, be aware that all the units are right now set to meters. I'm just going to move this window so it's lined up over top of these buttons here so it's easily visible when we're working with our objects. Instead of having a single view that we're going to be working in, we're going to click, hold, drag upward and select 4-view layout. The 4-view layout lets us see a three-dimensional view, a perspective view up here. We have a side view, a front view, and a top view, all laid out for us. By moving your cursor to the very center, clicking and dragging, we can size each of these accordingly. You'll notice that the object info bar fills up a lot of the front view. This is okay because we can move it out of the way if we need to be working with the front view, like so. But for now, I'm just going to leave it how it is. Additionally, if you don't want to use, for instance, the top view, you can click and drag to select a different view that you want this window here to be selected for. So for instance, maybe you want this one to be your perspective view. You select the perspective house here, now you have a perspective view. This one here, maybe you want to change to a top view, so you can do that by just clicking on the top view of the house icon here. So you can customize these views any way you like. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to select to use OpenGL Renderer, and we're going to set up some hotkeys. Now these hotkeys are going to be helpful to increase your workflow. To set up hotkeys in trueSpace, what you need to do is click on this last button here, drag upward to where it says Help icon, and let go. Here, in this window, you'll see all the different icons that are available within trueSpace. Some of these will not be available inside GameSpace, so your list will be much shorter than what you see in this window here. Located at the very bottom here, you have a listing of hotkeys which are associated with the currently selected tool. You can do a search for hotkeys by clicking down here and pressing a key on the keyboard. If a hotkey is associated with that key, the selected icon will appear on the screen. So for instance, if I go down here and I press Q, you'll notice that Q is currently assigned to object move. If I go and select A, you'll notice A is assigned to I move. The hotkeys that I would recommend that you set up are the following. Use the pull-down menu and select Navigation. Under Navigation, you have I move, I rotate, and zoom. Select I move, and under the Assign Hotkeys here, go and press the A key. For I rotate, select the S key, and for zoom, select the D key. Now using your left hand on the keyboard, you can place your ring finger on the A, the middle finger on the S and the index finger on the D, and you can quickly change between I move, I rotate, and I zoom. I also like to have toggle navigation using X-axis mapped to the Z key, toggle navigation using Y-axis mapped to the X key, and the Z-axis mapped to the C key. These will be located directly below the I move, I rotate, and I zoom that you've previously mapped already. 3 more hotkeys that you can map are located under the View pull-down menu here. Clicking on the view and scroll down, you'll have an option that says Look at Current Object. Click on this guy and map the F key to it. I think of this as focus. You can select an object, press the F key, and the camera will focus on the currently selected object. There's only 3 more hotkeys that I like to map out. If you select the pull-down menu one more time and select Modeling. Under Modeling, you'll find Object Move, Object Rotate, and Object Scale. I like to map out the Q key for Object Move, the W key for Object Rotate, and the E key for Object Scale. Now, if you keep your hand on the A, S, D keys on the keyboard, you can quickly go and switch between Object Move, Rotate, and Scale, World Move, Rotate, or Scale, or constraining to the X, Y, or Z very quickly by just using your 3 fingers. Alright, once you have those hotkeys set up, you're now ready to start modeling. After you've laid out your layout to however you like, you can then go and save it so that you can go and come back to this layout very quickly just by clicking on one button. I'm going to revert this back to how it was originally, with the top view being located up here and the perspective view being located up here. Now I'm going to save this view by clicking on this tool here, Configuration Library, and this will bring up the default views which you can go and select. To save your current view, you just need to go and right-click anywhere in this window and select Insert. Now a new option will be created for you. It's called New Configuration 0, and this is the current configuration which you have set up. You can right-click, go and rename this to whatever you like, My Settings, and now you have a quick way to go in and reset your view to this current settings. Let me show you how that works. I'll go and select this back down to single view, and I'll close these guys off. I'll change some things around, maybe move them around like so. After doing all this, if I want to revert back to that 4 view, all we need to do is click on that Configuration Library button, scroll over to My Settings, click on this, and you're done. Everything is reset back to how we had it before. In the next VMK, I'll show you some of the modeling tools which are available to you through trueSpace.